Ladies and gentlemen, please, shall we please take our seats? We are about to start. Shall we please find our seats? Let's sit down. The procession will be coming in now. People outside, please, let's find our seats and sit down. The procession is coming in. Hello. Shall you please sit down? I'm going to start calling you by name. The owner of the car, JNH 971, your car is preventing our guests to arrive. Also, HYW 144, please move your car. JNH 971, HYW 144, MP, please move your car. Hello, shall we please sit down? Sir, Honorable Sir, shall you please sit down? Colleagues, please stand up. Please stand up. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great day today. The temperature projections are saying it will be 13 degrees Celsius later on. Humidity at 28%. Wind traveling at 9 kilometers per hour in a north-northwest direction. Probability of thunderstorms, 0. We have some scattered clouds with cloud cover of 21%, which means our colleagues in the Northwest University Astronomical Observatory have a better chance to see the stars. The stars. The stars take your heart. Die sterre vat jou hart. Die naledi di tseya pelo ya gago. Because the stars are in the least bit hungry for you. The stars exchange your heart for the heart of the star. The stars take your heart and feed you the heart of a star. Then you'll never be hungry again. Dan sal jy nooit weer honger wees nie. Gaan kitla go tshwarwa ke tlala gape. Because the stars say, Tsao, Tsao. Want die sterre sê, Tsao, Tsao. Ke tsona di naledi tseo. Ladies and gentlemen, the program is designed in such a way that I'm not going to come back here often. Those who are going to speak, we are going to start with the constitution of the congregation. The Dr. Anam Hokong will constitute. And please check on the names as the people come here to see who is talking to us. And they will follow each other in that order. And may I repeat that I am the timekeeper, and I will going to indicate when you begin to need some indication that please cut it. Chancellor?
By the powers vested in me, I hereby constitute this meeting as a lawful congregation of the Northwest University.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, Madam Chancellor, honorable guests, colleagues, brothers and sisters, kindly allow me to embrace the honor of leading the devotion in this historic moment in the Northwest University family. Madam Chancellor, I embrace this honor with a very deep sense of humbleness because I know and I acknowledge that we are all not from the same faith or religious persuasions, but it is my prayer that all of us will somehow relate to the message. Therefore, I want to do the scripture reading and share some few pointers, and thereafter we will make a prayer, or I will lead you in prayer. I'm going to read this evening from the book of Lamentations. Very contrary to the occasion today, we are here to celebrate, but I am going to Lamentations chapter 3, reading from verse 37 to verse 40. It reads as follows. Who can speak and have it happen? if the Lord has not decreed it? Is it not from the mouth of the Most High that both calamities and good things come? Why should the living complain when punished for their sins? Let us examine our ways and test them. Let us return to the Lord. Brothers and sisters, in this ever-changing, challenging, and free society, where people are enjoying their freedoms and rights, some even grow arrogant each day that come and pass. We need to be reminded, and sometimes need to take a pause and remind ourselves as to who is in charge. Sometimes, judging by our conduct and what is going on in our society, it seems that we come to the point of forgetting who is in charge. Is it political leaders? Is it academics or scientists? The list go on and on. In our scripture reading this evening, Jeremiah and his fellow countrymen are lamenting because of the calamities and hardships they were going through in the land of their living. But then they remembered. Somehow it seems like they take a pause and begin to ask serious questions. And that is the question I am asking. Who is in charge? Jeremiah took the opportunity to remind the people of some few unchangeable facts. And that is, it is God who is in charge. It is God who is in control. I love it in our university anthem. There's a line that we sing, we say, as we learn, we trust and know that God is in control. It is He who speaks and have it happen according to His will. It is He who placed us in those strategic positions to lead, to educate, to guide our people. It is He who blesses with prosperity, and He can also deny us those prosperities. It is He who punishes the wrong in us. Therefore, as the scripture says, let us examine or search our ways, test them against His will. We need to have that moment, even as leaders and servants of the people, to do some self-introspection. Finally, He makes a call to the people of Israel, a call so relevant to you and me tonight or this evening. Let us return to the Lord. Let Him lead and guide us with grace so that we also may be able to educate, to train, to lead, and guide those whom God has entrusted to us. And it is only through Him that we can do it with grace, compassion, care, and justice. Because all these are His attributes. God bless you. Let us bow our heads and pray. Our Father in heaven, we come to you this evening, approaching the throne of grace with thanksgiving and joy in our hearts. First and foremost, we thank you for the gift of life, the good health, and all the blessings that we continue to enjoy in our lives. We make a confession that all this comes from you, because you are God, the giver of gifts, good and perfect gifts come from you. Even as we gather this evening, Lord, we thank you for this privilege that we can begin this ceremony by calling upon your name for intervention, for guidance, and that all of us may be joyful in our hearts as we celebrate this historic moment in the life of the Northwest University. We therefore pray, Lord, that you guide us and that we do all things this evening to the glory of your name. We dedicate your servant whom you have called to come and serve the Northwest University family, Dr. Tyobeka. We commit him unto you. Lord, may you bless him with joy and all that he needs to guide us, to lead us, and that he may reflect your grace, compassion, care, and justice as he leads and guides us. We pray all this, Lord, humbly in our hearts, giving you all the honor and praises. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good evening, all. As can be expected at an event of this stature and importance, there are various stakeholders and interested parties here tonight. It's therefore my privilege to welcome the following. From the Northwest, and you have to bear with me, and the groups are categorized. Firstly, from the Northwest leadership, our Chancellor, Dr. Anna Makagong, welcome. To the council members here present tonight, and of course, to our VC to be inaugurated tonight, Dr. Tyobeka. From the government and political leadership, we welcome the Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Buti Manamela, the Premier of the Northwest, Mr. Bushi Mape, the Northwest MEC for Health, Madoda Sambata, the Mayor of our host town, JB Marks, Councillor Gaba Kakele. We also like to welcome the executive mayors of Mahikeng, Mfuuleni, and Matlosana, Mr. Tsepiso Maplelu, Sipho Radebe, and Dame James Tsulela, respectively. The representatives from various embassies, His Excellency the Ambassador Norio Maruyama, the Japanese ambassador to South Africa, His Excellency Ambassador Tebogo Siokololo, the South African ambassador to France and Monaco, the U.S. Consulate General, Mr. Vincent Spera, and the Education and Science Counselor from the Embassy of Finland, Ms. Lina Soiri. Chancellor, we also like to welcome the various senior managers from various national and provincial departments. We'd like to extend a welcome to the family of Dr. Tyobeka. Welcome here tonight. Also, Chancellor, we'd like to welcome the higher education sector senior managers. In particular, we would like to welcome other vice-chancellors and senior managers who is attending this event, and we would also like, in this category, to welcome the management of the Northwest University, which then includes the UMC, which includes the DVCs and the deans and respective management structures. Then we have the Northwest Chancellor statutory bodies, and we would like to welcome the executive committees, members of the institutional forum, the convocation, and the board of donors. We welcome our student leadership, and in particular, we welcome former leaders of our institution, which will include former council members, rectors, and vice-chancellors of the university. We also like to welcome various leaders from different sectors, the business community, government, community leaders, and the like. And then finally, we also welcome the media and people following this event online. That concludes our list of named dignitaries, but maybe at this juncture it's important maybe just to place the role of the VC. The Vice-Chancellor of the university is its chief executive and accounting officer, and is responsible for the management and the administration of the university. The VC, the Vice-Chancellor, is also accountable to the Council in respect of his duties, functions, powers, and responsibilities which are attached to his office. From the above, you will note that clearly the Vice-Chancellor's position is a key position in the university, and he is a key individual in the functioning of the university. Accordingly, as chairperson of the council, it's my privilege on behalf of the Council of the Northwest University to welcome each and every one of you here tonight to be present at the inauguration of our Vice-Chancellor and to share this auspicious event with us. Welcome.
nwu-pukke rikaele murena kawena rika ema ratswarana aurena urichoche viel is breed, door in onze skaal is breed, zoals ons groei en kendigheid, mag hij ons mee. Zien ons zo hier, neem met die hand, laat die zin es voor ons staat. Streams united flow, Africa stands proud and tall. As we learn, we trust, we know, God is in control. Bless us, O Lord, guide us with grace. May Northwest be blessed always. Bless us, O Lord, zien ons zo hier. Voor in zich opvat en boerena, zien ons bless us.
Madam Chancellor, all protocol observed. Good evening, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Bismark, will you please come to the stage? I have the honor. Now, I have the honor of introducing the incoming Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University to you tonight. So, I'm introducing to you a person born in Welverdiend and calling Rustenburg his hometown. Little did he know at the time how close his relationship with Northwest will remain. I'm introducing to you a results-driven CEO with experience of leading change, increasing growth in a state-owned entity, and driving partnerships at bilateral and multilateral levels. I am introducing to you a seasoned governance champion with demonstrated leadership of complex, scientific, academic, and bureaucratic environments. I'm introducing to you an excellent stakeholder influencer with an illustrious track record at political, technical, regulatory, and business levels. Ladies and gentlemen, I am introducing to you Dr. Bismark Mzabanzi Tyobeka. Dr. Tyobeka held the position of CEO of the National Nuclear Regulator of South Africa since 2013 and played a major role in various initiatives of the International Atomic Energy Agency. His contribution in the global arena includes serving in the International Advisory Committee on Nuclear Safety and as Vice Chairperson of both the International Nuclear Regulatory Cooperation Forum and the Forum for Nuclear Regulatory Bodies in Africa. Prior to his appointment as CEO of the NNR, Dr. Tyobeka worked as a nuclear engineer at the International Atomic Energy Agency in Austria and also as a senior reactor physicist. For a period, he held the same position at Eskom. Dr. Bismark has had a long and fruitful association with his alma mater since starting his studies at the former University of Northwest in the 1990s. Dr. Bismark obtained the degrees BSc Ed and MSc at the former University of Northwest, and in 2004, another master's degree in nuclear engineering at Penn State University in the USA. In 2005, he also obtained a master's degree in project management at the Colorado Technical University in the USA, and in 2007, his PhD in nuclear engineering at Penn State University. He has published more than 15 journal papers in peer-reviewed international journals on nuclear energy and nuclear science and engineering. He has also presented papers in more than 50 international conferences, mostly as an invited speaker, session organizer, or chairperson. He was the 5th chairperson of the Northwest University Council and has been a council member since November 2014, and he served as the University Council chairperson since November 2017. Dr. Bismark Tyobeka officially started his term as Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University on the 1st of June this year. Dr. Bismark, in an interview when you started your career in the nuclear field, you said you felt the responsibility that the future of nuclear technology and nuclear power of this country is in your hands. Tonight we say to you, Dr. Tyobeka, the future of Northwest University is now in your hands. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremonial inauguration of the Vice-Chancellor will now take place.
Madam Chancellor, Dr. Anna Mokokong, the Chairperson of the Northwest University Council, Mr. Bert Zorgdrager, and all current members and former members of Council present here, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training, Ntate Buti Manamela, and his entourage, the Honorable Premier of our Northwest Province, Ntate Bushimape, members of the Provincial Executive Committee, MECs of the Northwest Provincial Government present here, executive mayors and other officials and representatives from all spheres of our government, Deputy Director General of University Education, the Department of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Meshia Socikwa, members of the Senate of the Northwest University, members of the Institutional Forum, members of the Northwest University Convocation Executive Committee, the Northwest University SRC President, Ms. Thuso Molifi, and all student leaders present here, Vice-Chancellors and representatives of other universities, CEOs of Universities South Africa, USAF, the Northwest University donors, members of the Diplomatic Corps here present, CEO and representatives from business, former colleagues and friends, leadership of state-owned enterprises here present, the Northwest University staff, colleagues, partners, and friends of the Northwest University. Good evening, Sanibonani, Molweni, Goeienaand, Matekwana, Dumelang, and Salam Alaikum. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion tonight. Madam Chancellor, please allow me to acknowledge and thank my family, my dear wife Ngeniswa, and children for their unconditional support and love. My parents, the late Makama Tyobeka, my dad, and my mother, Makumal. And my mother was here today, Elizabeth Tyobeka, for their love and determination in making sure that I stay on the straight and narrow to achieve my dreams. Madam Chancellor, there is an African proverb that says, it takes a village to raise a child. Indeed, I must, without doubt, acknowledge the good people of my village, Velverdient Kwanongeba, some of whom are present here, and others are joining us remotely from the community hall in Velverdient. Siyanemukela mavelva samahle apho nikhoyo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to address you this evening. It is certainly a privilege that I address you as the third principal and Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University. I thank all the university structures for the confidence and the challenge they have placed upon me. Please allow me to pay tribute to my predecessors who laid a solid foundation for the success of this university. In that regard, I would like to thank and welcome Dr. Tiens Elof and Professor Dan Khwadi. Thank you very much for the excellent job in steering this institution to where it is today. Not forgetting the former chairpersons of council, especially in this regard, acknowledge and recognize former judge and advocate Johan Kruger, who is with us tonight, from whom I have learned so much. Gentlemen, your sound leadership ensured that we get through periods of uncertainty and turbulence, especially in the early years of the merger of the two universities. Of course, I know where this university comes from because I am also a proud alumnus of this university. When I was a student leader back in the days in Mafikeng, I was focused on my studies and just wanted to achieve the dreams that I had when I was a young boy growing up in the village near Rustenburg in the Northwest Province. I didn't know that one day I will be standing here and addressing you as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University. But here we are. I must confess that my relationship and the involvement with the university post my studies grew stronger after I received an outstanding alumni award in 2013. Since then, I have been intimately involved with the university at council level, trying to make meaningful contributions for my alma mater, as all of us here are expected to do. Madam Chancellor, when I was part of council, both as ordinary member and as chairperson, we made a series of decisions that I think were fundamental to the stability, success, and sustainability of our university. This includes our 2015-2020 up to 2025 strategy, which we must begin to review. Through the implementation of this strategy, we made significant progress towards the equity of resources provision across our 3 campuses. We continued to achieve good results in terms of our teaching and learning, as well as research and innovation areas. All these ensured that we continue to be regarded as one of the top universities in South Africa and indeed internationally. We will be celebrating our 20th anniversary in the next 2 years. I am certain that both my predecessors will agree that although we have recorded some significant successes since 2004, we have encountered some problems along the way. It has not been an easy ride. As Kwame Nkrumah once said, the former president of Ghana, those who would judge us merely by the heights we have achieved would do well to remember the depths from which we started, close quote. We are where we are today because of you, our stakeholders and partners. Therefore, allow me, Madam Chancellor, to thank all of you, our stakeholders, including staff, students, donors, alumni, partners, and collaborators for your dedication, professionalism, diligence, and innovative ideas, and the resilience, especially during the past 2 years of the crippling COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Chancellor, since I assumed my role as Principal and Vice-Chancellor from the 1st of June, I have been meeting colleagues in senior management to understand the issues with which portfolios are focused on in the short to medium term. I have also met some members of staff and student leaders just to get a sense of the pulse of the university. I must say that firstly, the reception and the enthusiasm amongst the colleagues and students have been heartwarming. And secondly, I'm encouraged by the caliber of staff and students that we have at the Northwest University. Ladies and gentlemen, the Northwest University will, as outlined in our teaching and learning strategy, continue to strive to produce graduates who are responsible and engaged members of society, knowledgeable and highly educated professionals, critical thinkers who are innovative and adaptable, principals, servant leaders, and skilled collaborators and team players. Madam Chancellor, I am aware of the difficulties that the youth, including our graduates, encounter upon their graduation and exiting the university. The high unemployment rate among the youth continues to be a burden, regardless of their level of education or qualifications. Consequently, therefore, there are those who are beginning to question the need for education, and in particular, university education. However, we know that in many countries, including our country, the situation is worse for those without university education. This is clearly highlighted in the Statistics SA Quarterly Labor Force Survey of Q1 2022. Therefore, we must continue to promote the importance of education amongst our youth. Quality education that aims to address the needs of society and contribute to the development and growth of our country, our continent, and the world is vital. I agree with the statement by the former president of Tanzania, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, that the education provided must encourage the development in each citizen of the three things: 1, an inquiring mind; 2, an ability to learn from others and reject or adapt it to his own needs; and 3, a basic confidence in his own position as a free and equal member of society who values others and is valued by them for what he does and not for what he obtains. Close quote. In this regard, Madam Chancellor, graduate employability and entrepreneurship development will receive my special attention during my tenure as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of this university. We will strengthen our relationships and partnerships with industry role players nationally and internationally to maximize employment, partnerships, and business opportunities for our students and graduates. We have subjects and programs such as clinical medicine, public health, and hospitality and tourism management that are internationally ranked in the top 101 to 150 category, which confirms that we produce excellent graduates for the global market. Thus, we will explore and pursue opportunities beyond the borders of our country for our students and graduates. Our students and graduates also need to broaden their focus beyond South Africa as the domestic market is simply constrained and limited. In this vein, we will ensure that our Global Engagement Office enhances its effort to avail more international job opportunities for our graduates. The skills and international experience that these graduates would acquire can be very useful to our country's economy when they return to work for companies in various sectors of the economy or even establish their own enterprises, thereby creating job opportunities for their brothers and sisters. We will strengthen our teaching, learning, research and innovation, and community engagement programs. I pledge to ensure that the Northwest University has greater social impact, especially within the communities where we find ourselves based. I know we are already involved within these communities, but we will upscale our involvement and investment and design impactful programs that would have a long-term and sustainable impact. Working in collaboration with local government, municipalities, we can make a significant contribution towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, and undoubtedly, this will benefit communities in many ways and further highlight our relevance and social impact. Ladies and gentlemen, the Auditor General's report repeatedly points to a dysfunctional local government system, which is characterized by the lack of skills and maladministration. This requires all of us to be involved in whatever ways we can to change this trend. We have prioritized partnerships with municipalities in the Northwest Province to assist them in skills development and capacity building and ensure that they have the capacity and proper administrative systems to achieve their mandate. We will, upon discussion and agreement with these municipalities in the Northwestern Vaal, make significant progress in designing tailor-made programs which will hopefully be implemented without delay. I am confident that working together, we can make a significant progress in the next 3 years. Madam Chancellor and colleagues, food security and nutrition are a global problem. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the most recent evidence available in 2022 suggests that the number of people unable to afford a healthy diet around the world rose by 112 million to almost 3.1 billion, reflecting the impact of rising consumer food prices during the pandemic. In addition, the ongoing war in Ukraine and the instabilities in other parts of the world have highlighted the need for countries to promote local agriculture, agro-processing, and food production. The agricultural sector in the Northwest Province contributes about 6.9% to the provincial GDP, only second to the mining sector in this regard. I see Ntate Mohapi here, he can agree with me. Our Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences has nationally and internationally rated researchers who can work with other stakeholders in the province and at national level to grow the agriculture sector and optimize food production, storage, and distribution. Therefore, we will pursue partnerships with the Northwest Provincial Government, Honorable Premier, and the private sector to strengthen existing initiatives and explore new opportunities. During its budget and policy vote earlier this year, the Northwest Provincial Department of Agriculture and Rural Development committed to finalize and launch the Integrated Provincial Food Security Strategy during this financial year, which ends in March 2023. We will discuss with the department with a view to agree on tangible programs in which our experts can be involved and can contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, I was born in a village. I have witnessed people in my village and other villages losing valuable livestock due to the outbreak of disease and injuries to their livestock. The limited number of veterinarians in our country needs attention. A few months ago, the South African Veterinary Council reported that our country is facing a dire shortage of veterinary professionals, partly because there are limited institutions that offer full training for veterinarians. According to this institution or the council, the number of registered veterinarians in South Africa dropped from 3,718 in 2020 to only 3,483 in 2021. This is reportedly the reason we are relying on veterinarians from our neighboring countries. And this does not augur well for the country's food security. Of course, this situation is a threat to our food security and production, but there is an opportunity for us to explore the growth of our animal health programs and establish a school of veterinary sciences that can cover the Northwest Province, the Northern Cape, Free State, and parts of the Gauteng Province. We will pursue relationships and partnerships with other relevant structures, such as the 2 agricultural colleges in Potchefstroom and Taung, to build capacity that can work with communities to ensure sustainable food production and safety. The available limited resources for public institutions, including universities and government, dictate that we work in partnerships, in collaboration to achieve more and change the lives within our communities. Of course, we will pursue partnerships with our chiefs, the Kgosi tsa rona, to ensure that we remain relevant and rooted in our communities and offer relevant interventions that address specific needs of rural communities. Madam Chancellor, our plans to contribute to the agricultural sector and the economy in general will face problems if there are no sufficient water resources. Our country is a water-scarce country, and it ranks as one of the 30th driest countries in the world. 2 weeks ago, I was in Botswana, where I attended a roundtable discussion hosted in Botswana by our business school. Dr. Kifense Mzwinila, who is the Minister of Lands and Water Affairs in that country, who also happened to be one of our alumni, was part of the discussions. He emphasized the need for the governments in Southern Africa to work together on sustainable water management solutions. The need to use scientific tools for this purpose is unquestionable. Therefore, we will explore opportunities to work with stakeholders in the private and public sectors to assist in the efforts for sustainable water management across the SADC region. Madam Chancellor, we cannot ignore the issue regarding climate change and sustainability. I am aware that amongst us, we have climate change deniers and even across the globe. However, we need to contend with the reality that there are ever-changing weather patterns that result in droughts and floods, such as the ones that we have seen recently in KwaZulu-Natal and some parts of the Northwest Province. Often, there is an opportunity in every challenge. Our scientists have embraced climate change challenges and their effects on water management by developing tools such as the Climate Change Vulnerability Index and a mobile application to assist in the management of groundwater resources and enhance sustainability. In addition to these scientific interventions that respond to climate change and sustainability, we plan to embark on a process to reduce our contribution to carbon emissions in our campuses as the university. We will capacitate and intensify our campuses to green them and deploy other climate-friendly resources such as renewable energy across our campuses. In our efforts to reduce plastic waste, we must strive towards a climate-friendly environment, and therefore, it may be the last time that we serve you water in those plastic bottles that you see. We will, of course, introduce these measures. We'll introduce these measures gradually. We have no choice but to start thinking and applying ourselves differently, as the renowned Kenyan environmental activist Wangari Maathai implored us when she said, and I quote, "Today we are faced with a challenge that calls for a shift in our thinking so that humanity stops threatening its life support system. We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds, in the process heal our own, indeed to embrace the whole of creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. Recognizing that the sustainable development, democracy, and peace are indivisible is an area whose time has come," close quotes. Ladies and gentlemen, we agree that there is a clear nexus between water resources, food security, environment, and energy. The lack of reliable energy affects the economy and all assets of society. Through various initiatives by our staff and students in the Faculty of Engineering, we will be looking into research initiatives that can provide solutions to our state utility, ESCOM. As a university, we are regarded as a center of knowledge, and society looks up to us to provide solutions. Our Faculty of Engineering will therefore continue to provide a holistic package of energy interventions through our research initiatives in the areas of clean coal technologies, hydrogen production and storage, as well as advanced nuclear power systems, just to mention a few. Madam Chancellor, we will soon be in discussions with mining houses, especially in the Northwest Province, to test the appetite for partnerships regarding the establishment of the School of Mines and Mining Engineering. This initiative will not only look into advanced technologies in mining, but will also focus on environmental issues, mineral beneficiation, as well as mining health and safety. I believe that we have the essential building blocks for such a school, given what already exists in both our Faculty of Engineering and our Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. We should readily, after due regard to regulatory approvals, be able to offer programs in metallurgical assay, mining ventilation and environmental engineering, mine geology and mine survey, mineral processing and extractive metallurgy. What remains is mining-specific parts of the curriculum, and indeed the appetite from the mining houses and government. Given the issues that we face that surround us with the illegal mining activities, we will also position ourselves as a future hub for short learning programs in small-scale and artisanal mining. The initial phase of this process will involve a benchmarking exercise with institutions in various countries such as the United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and indeed, in our SADC region, a very good example would be the Zimbabwean School of Mines, which should be a good regional benchmark for this venture. Additionally, we'll soon be convening a stakeholder summit to gauge this appetite very soon. Teaching and learning, research and innovation, and community engagements are the cornerstones of universities. I have no doubt, Madam Chancellor, that our teaching and learning strategies and programs places us in a good position to compete with the best universities in the world. Hence, we are consistently highly rated and ranked internationally. I am of the view that for us to remain relevant and competitive, we cannot ignore questions that are posed at higher education institutions, especially in South Africa, about the rest of the continent. I am referring to questions about the Africanization or decolonization of the curriculum, the concerns regarding quality and relevance of some of the degrees and programs that we continue to offer, and the questions regarding the readiness, our readiness to embrace new technologies that can assist us to offer programs to a new type of student who has specific teaching, learning needs, and preferences. It is my understanding that the decolonization or Africanization of the curriculum simply means the recognition and inclusion of knowledge or disciplines that are centered on or characterized by African philosophical thinking, social practices, and norms. It does not necessarily mean doing away with the knowledge of histories that originate from Western countries or former colonizers. In any case, as Julius Nyerere once said, one does not judge one's state of health by comparing it to that of a sick person. To this end, we will invest more funding towards the development of Setswana, Sesotho, and isiZulu to the level of maturity as language of instruction. Our institutions remains a preferred and niche destination for Afrikaans-speaking students who seek quality education in their mother tongue, probably the last such remaining destination. Whilst others view this as a threat and an aberration to our transformation efforts, on the contrary, we view these as an opportunity to demonstrate that transformation does not equal extinction of indigenous South African languages, of which Afrikaans is one. Instead, our transformation and decolonization efforts must use the Afrikaans language as a benchmark to prop up other languages as mentioned. This is possible as long as we do not use any of these languages, Afrikaans included, as a barrier to access and inclusion. The language policy that we adopted a few years ago during my tenure as chairman of council spells out quite clearly on how our functional multilingualism should enable access and inclusion instead of impeding it. That augurs well for both transformation of the university and the decolonization of the curriculum in the medium to long term. In my one-on-one meeting with the Dean of Humanities, Professor Dumi Moyo, recently, it came to my attention that we face challenges in succession planning for academics in our Department of Setswana, to the extent that we now have to resort to retired Setswana professors to supervise our postgraduate students. I am sure all of you who are mostly Botswana speaking will agree with me that this is not good news. It means that if nothing is done, the pipeline for Setswana teachers will be adversely affected, which in turn would have ripple effects to other areas of the Botswana culture, customs, and traditions. This morning, I had a very engaging discussion with our Premier, Ntate Bushimape, and I was very happy that, unprovoked, he raised the same concern. That talks to the agility in thinking for both the leadership we have, but also for the university. We will, in collaboration, therefore, with the Provincial Department of Education, prioritize the funding of students to study Setswana up to postgraduate level to mitigate this risk. By the way, we face the same, if not worse, situation with the Sesotho language offering. Now, some of you will be wondering why Sesotho. We have a campus in Van der Bijl that is predominantly rooted in the Sesotho-speaking community. And therefore, we plan to address the problem working in partnership with the relevant stakeholders. Madam Chancellor, there are opportunities for us to broaden our classroom approaches. For example, we should consider partnerships with kings, queens, and chiefs, the Khosi, and traditional court, Makotla, in the teaching of customary law in the Faculty of Law. Madam Chancellor, last month, I attended an international indigenous astronomy conference that was hosted by our Indigenous Knowledge Systems Center in Sun City near Rustenburg. The speakers shared insights that are important for the institutionalization and advancement of this discipline. We will support our Center for Indigenous Knowledge Systems to grow and to work with relevant stakeholders in various areas. Our forefathers could predict the clouds, they could read the clouds and make weather predictions. This practice is still in use by the San people in the Northern Cape and Botswana, and in fact, in some of our communities in Limpopo. This kind of indigenous knowledge systems can be harnessed and utilized together with modern technologies to assist rural communities in farming and other areas. We must pursue this in tribute to the leaders and indigenous knowledge activists such as David Kraper, who was posthumously honored with the Order of the Baobab in silver in 2014. Our strategic intent is very clear, that we want to transform and position the Northwest University as a unitary institution of superior academic excellence with a commitment to social justice. To this end, our teaching and learning strategies commit to curriculum transformation and renewal. Therefore, we will increasingly incorporate relevant programs that address the decolonization question and promote diversity and inclusiveness. We will also review some of the existing programs that are perceived to lack value in terms of preparing students for the business market. Madam Chancellor, the lockdown due to COVID-19 had a huge impact on teaching and learning for lecturers, students, and their parents and guardians. The lecturers and students had to learn and get used to new ways of our students, to new ways of teaching and learning and assessments. And some of our students and lecturers may still prefer the online classroom and assessment. Although we will, through the implementation of our digital business strategy, pursue the use of educational technologies for classroom and other student support activities, we will remain a contact university while we invest and strengthen our distance learning portfolio. Our student value proposition is centered around academic excellence and a vibrant student life. And this is not about to change. We will continue to introduce world-class facilities to our students and host academic and sports teams and experts from all over the world. The vibrancy of our campuses continues to contribute to the economies of our cities. We may need to conduct a study to compare and quantify this economic contribution to ensure that our stakeholders, including municipalities, can appreciate the importance of sustained delivery of services and infrastructure development and maintenance. Of course, we the way to embrace program-specific needs and allow flexibility for our academics to balance teaching and research. Our digital business strategy implementation must result in a more strengthened and expanded distance learning portfolio to cater for the student market that prefers this mode of teaching and learning. As a university, we are expected to produce new knowledge and solutions to respond to socio-economic challenges and opportunities in society. We are, through various centers of excellence, already involved in world-class research initiatives that produce life-altering solutions in South Africa and part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, some of the research innovations and initiatives that the university embarks upon results in spin-off companies that are jointly owned by the university and other partners. It is important that we grow these spin-off companies and ensure that they generate sufficient funds to sustain themselves. That therefore requires a review of the current business models to ensure mutually beneficial partnerships with the private sector. We need people with business leadership and acumen to manage these companies. Accordingly, we will establish a Northwest University enterprise company that will manage all our enterprises and seek more business opportunities locally and internationally. Madam Chancellor, I strongly believe that we must play a key role in local economic development initiatives of our country. Therefore, thank you. We will, together with our past partners in the private and public sectors, involve retired experts in business management to establish more business incubators, especially in the 3 cities where we are located. The promotion of an entrepreneurial culture among our students is crucial in broadening their opportunities in the business market. Therefore, this will receive special attention during my tenure. Madam Chancellor, for us to sustain the great work that is done by the university in various areas, including our research centers, we need to attract and retain expert researchers and staff. This is the reason we have already embarked upon a staff optimization process. We continue to lose very skilled staff, and this affects our performance and competitiveness. The staff optimization process will involve a benchmarking exercise with other universities and answer some of the questions with which we have been grappling, including those pertaining to our remuneration model, strategic deployment of resources, and so on. I must emphasize that the project is likely to involve reskilling and upskilling of staff, and no job losses are anticipated. Ladies and gentlemen, we all witnessed student protests a few years ago regarding university fees, decolonization, identity, and inclusiveness. In terms of addressing the high fees question, the government's intervention via the NSFAS has assisted many students to access higher education. However, NSFAS also poses the highest risk to the universities. Regrettably, most students who receive NSFAS and are expected to repay their debt do not do so. Therefore, the sustainability of the scheme is in doubt, considering that the government has many other pressing socio-economic issues that require funding from a very constrained fiscus. There is no doubt that we need to diversify our sources of income to manage these risks. Another challenge that we face is the insufficient funding for postgraduate studies. Earlier this month, we were in discussions with our board of donors regarding financial support for students. It became very clear during these discussions that some companies have taken a backseat in terms of supporting students financially, because there seems to be a view that government's response to the demand for free education through broadening NSFAS support are adequate. The fact of the matter is that we have what is now colloquially called the missing middle. In other words, those students whose parents' income fall just outside the qualification amount for NSFAS support. In addition, there are postgraduate studies who do not get NSFAS support, and many of the sources which we used to fund them have gradually decreased. In response, we will, in partnership with our partners, explore the establishment of a special fund that can assist in funding for the postgraduate students and the missing middle. We need to build a knowledge economy that can move this country closer to meeting the proposals and targets of the National Development Plan. I strongly believe that for any country to develop and grow its economy and create sustainable business and employment opportunities, there needs to be a deliberate investment to support research and development programs which are driven by experts and postgraduate students. Countries such as South Korea, Singapore, and Japan invested heavily in research and development, and that moved them from middle income to high income status. Furthermore, in our difficult and constrained job market, where a high number of graduates are unemployed, deciding to pursue postgraduate studies which are fully funded seems to be the best option than having our young people queuing for SASSA grants with a bachelor's degree in their CVs, nogal. This month of August, Women's Month, I had an opportunity to read some of our women staff, some of what they had to say about being proud employees of the Northwest University. I was particularly intrigued by an extract from Dr. Precious Mngai, a senior lecturer in economics at our Van der Bijl campus. She wrote, and I quote, "My passion for research was inspired by my own journey. When I was an unemployed graduate back in 2014, I did not understand how or why that was the case. So I decided to enroll for my master's degree. I made it my mission to do impactful research that will help in shedding light on the association, education, and employment, especially for young people. I realized that I could turn my challenge at the time into research, as I understood not the only one frustrated by what all my education is for better employment prospects, close quotes. Dr. Mngai, having decided to choose between staying at home with a degree or embarking on a postgraduate studies, went on to complete both her master's and PhD degrees and is now a senior lecturer. There may be many Dr. Mngais out there, and all that is needed is for us to give them hope and opportunities to upskill themselves through fully funded postgraduate studies. Working with our board of donors and other partners, will continue to persuade companies to collaborate more with our research centers and repurpose some of their funds to support postgraduate studies, especially in the areas of mutual interest. President of the SRC, Metu Somolifi, I commit to working with the students and other stakeholders to diversify on income streams to ensure that we can assist students in need. However, I need students to understand and appreciate that donors and indeed potential employers and business partners donate funds and employ people who have demonstrated responsibility and accountability. Let us agree that some of our students have not demonstrated these important leadership attributes, resulting in our message not being positively received by these potential donors and funders. Madam Chancellor, another gap that we have identified is the challenge of quality in our student leadership in general. It is crucial that those who contest student leadership positions understand this ethos of responsibility and accountability that comes with those positions. We are in the process of establishing a student leadership academy to offer leadership training to our students, especially those in leadership positions or aspire for such positions or roles in future. The academy will not only focus on issues in the student life environment, but will also prepare our students for a life in the boardroom and priorities such as negotiation skills, teamwork, and problem solving. To this end, Madam Chancellor, as part of empowering our students, we will be hosting an international conference against violent student protests towards peaceful resolution of disputes on our campuses. This conference will be hosted before the end of the year at our Mahikeng campus. Deputy Minister Manamela, if you have arrived, I invite you and other universities to join us at this conference. As I move towards conclusion, Madam Chancellor, it would really be remiss of me not to talk about the crisis of gender-based violence. As the Northwest University, we have adopted a zero-tolerance approach to gender-based violence and violence in general for both our student and staff environments. We have tasked our internal experts to work with staff, students, and external partners to tighten our policy instruments to ensure that we deal decisively with perpetrators and offer meaningful and sustained support to survivors of gender-based violence. Perpetrators of violence of any kind should never be comfortable amongst us, and we will make sure of that. We will create and we continue to create a conducive environment for young women to thrive academically, such is the case with Dr. Mnai. And we recognize the hurdles that women encounter in society. Just recently, the story shared by Judge Navi Pillay when we hosted her a few weeks ago as part of our Women's Month activities makes one realize just how far we come, and yet the journey ahead is still a challenge. The legal firms refused to employ Judge Pillay because of her gender and race those days. And even when she decided to start her own law firm, men, including black men, did not believe she would succeed simply because she is a woman. Most of you may know that she went on to become one of the most successful lawyers, who is the first black woman judge of the High Court of South Africa, and served as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, among other assignments. We do not want our women, our young women today, to go through the pain that Judge Navi Pillay had to endure to succeed. Therefore, we'll continue to offer women, including our students and staff, the necessary support to create an environment that promotes equity and equality. Madam Chancellor, you are aware of our plans to get the medical school for the Northwest University up and running. We desperately need the cooperation and support of our Northwest provincial government and the relevant national government departments to make progress. I am pleased to say that in my discussions with the Premier this morning, he is 150% in support of this project. Thank you, Premier. Very clearly, we already have the necessary ingredients in our Faculty of Health Sciences to start the medical school. Deputy Minister, the public health issues in our country need more medical doctors. The Northwest University is ready to train these professionals who can help people of Northwest and other neighboring provinces and countries. I need not say much about what MEC Poppy Ramathuba said, but the point has been made. Colleagues and friends, we have embarked on a new journey. It is not going to be an easy journey. It will need all hands on deck working towards a shared goal, namely the success and sustainability of the Northwest University. To paraphrase one of the great sons of Africa, Amilcar Cabral, during this journey, every one of us must have the courage of their responsibilities, exacting from others a proper respect for their work and properly respecting the work of others. Hide nothing from our stakeholders, tell no lies, expose lies whenever they are told, especially in this period of fake news and misinformation. We, on our part, shall not mask difficulties. We will not hide mistakes and failures, and we will certainly not claim easy victories. We will be transparent and honest with you because we are mere custodians of this great institution, and we have no choice but to preserve it for future generations. I am determined to achieve the commitments that we are making this evening, and believe me when I say I am here to lead. Join us on this exciting journey. In closing, the Reverend here quoted from the book of Isaiah, the Lamentations. Now, for my people coming from Velverdien, that verse is a song in my church. Masizipengulule indlela zethu, sizigoca-goca. I thank you.
Hey!
Okay, let's relax a bit. Thank you very much to the choir. When I started with the poem, The Stars. It wasn't my, it is my adaptation of the poem that was adapted by Rock. Dear Queen, in the north of our Cape. The story of Dear Queen and the people of the Tam is the one that our indigenous knowledge systems and so on need to follow. I am now going to ask of our congratulatory messages to do a want to know the order. I see the name people who's talking, but let me play in on the side of it's too so if the president will talk on behalf of students. Prof. Lloyd Conley, our executive dean of the Faculty of Education, will speak on behalf of senior will speak on behalf of the convocation and Prof. Den, the Vice-Chancellor of the Vaal University of Technology, will speak representing the higher education sector. Kaugita Ushim Mape, our premier in the Northwest Province, indeed the good people of Northwest, Mr. Buchi Manamela, our Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, is speaking on behalf of the national government and the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, in that order, please remember the brief and what will happen. Thank you.
Oh, the lighting. Warm greetings to the House at large. Madam Chancellor, Munyadi wa rona, institutions, faculty deans, faculty management, Northwest University, student leaders, honorable guests, receive my warm greetings. First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to officially and formally congratulate Dr. Tyobeka on his new appointment as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University. It's not a secret. Over the past 2 years, the Northwest University navigated the very unprecedented circumstances of the pandemic. Now, as we transition back to the reality we knew prior to the outbreak, it is of paramount importance to instill strong and capable leadership that will will our institution in order to facilitate the smooth transition and still maintain the status quo of the Northwest University within the continent and internationally. We believe you are the necessary individual, Dr. Tyobeka, to spearhead positive and progressive transition and transformation within the Northwest University. Your accomplishment in serving as a member of various international agencies in nuclear energy and as a member later as a chairperson of the University Council, speaks highly of your capabilities to successfully execute your duties within the position of the Vice-Chancellor. A very wonderful congratulations to you on your new appointment. On behalf of the Northwest University student populace, I would like to wish you a very fruitful and successful term as you embark on this journey. John Maxwell once said, I quote, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way," close quote. Through your vast qualification and experience, we strongly believe that during your term in office, you will guide us all as the Northwest University community to becoming better, achieving our dreams and inspirations, and ensuring that our institution is the best version it can ever be. To whom much is given, much is expected. Lead the Northwest University with deep commitment to academic excellence, community service, and empowering both student and staff. May your term nurture the theme, discover your greatness. Cultivate the transformation agenda of the Northwest University and traceable student success. On behalf of the entire Northwest University student populace, we say, under your leadership, may the Northwest University go from pillar to pillar. I thank you.
I'm not that tall. There we go. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, and all dignitaries. Good evening. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, when it became known that you are the question was asked, so what do you think his plans are? You know, specifically after we had a Senate meeting, I think you can recall, while you were still a councillor or council chairperson, where you really pushed the agenda of transformation, social justice, and quality. So there was quite a concern about where are we going to? But you have, in the last couple of weeks, really nailed your colors to the mast. And I must say that, and I'm glad you quoted a biblical verse, because I'm going to take a sentence out of a chorus, and I'm going to apply it to what you have said. And the sentence in the chorus only has 4 words. The first being, Waymaker. And when I look at you, and I look at your illustrious career, and I look at the plans you have for the Northwest University, I can't otherwise but describe you as a waymaker. You know, you have come a long way in your own life. You've charted a route in your own life. But you are not going to stop at that point. You're going to take this waymaker way beyond just your own life. And we look forward as a Senate and staff of the Northwest University to the route that you're going to charter, as you have so eloquently described it earlier this evening. The second word that I want to take out of that sentence is miracle worker. You see, miracles doesn't just happen. You have to work extremely hard to achieve those miracles. And you know what kind of miracles we're going to see? Miracles such as your own life, where you come from a rural area and you become a vice-chancellor. We are going to see many more of those who have been discarded by society. And they are going to land up under the leadership of a vice-chancellor. And he's going to take them to higher places. But we have to support him in that. Just want to mention that. So it's firstly, waymaker, miracle worker. Now the third one is a bit difficult because you promised, look at the remuneration. So the third word is promise keeper. And you have made a lot of other promises, sir. You have made a lot of other promises. But you know what gives me hope is that you have already embarked on a process of keeping those promises. Prof. Mala smiling there because she already approached so that we can keep those promises. And if we have listened carefully this evening, these are not idle promises. These are promises that's going to make a difference not only in the lives of the Northwest University, but in the lives of the community, the Northwest Province, South Africa, and beyond our borders. So, I'm going to remind you when I see you, promise keeper. The last one that I want to talk to is light in the darkness. You know, you have described such a dark picture of where we find ourselves in South Africa. And I'm not even going to attempt to describe it again because it is upsetting sometimes, especially during a month where we recognize women, but we do not give them the respect they deserve. Now, you know, ladies and gentlemen, the first time I with the Vice-Chancellor. Now, remember, they said, the people asked, so what do you think the plans of the Vice-Chancellor is? And now people are saying, our Vice-Chancellor. So they have already moved. So the first time I was in the you, sir, you asked me to pray at the beginning. And you know where your light is. And we need your light in this dark world. Not only your light as a Christian, but your light as a human being who has achieved and can shine to the others. We don't need the engineering to produce the energy. Your energy is sufficient, I think, to light us up. You know, whilst I was a school principal, or no, it was before that, we had a slogan, and I want you to remember the slogan. Where there is light, there is hope. And you have brought the light tonight. So on behalf of the staff, on behalf of Senate, I want to congratulate you. We are proud. We are proud to have a Vice-Chancellor such as you. And we want to give you the assurance. A leader without followers is merely going for a walk. We are the followers, and we're going with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Anna Mokgakong, Dr. Bismark Tyobeka, Mr. Bert Zorgdrager, all protocol observed with regards to the rest. After such an eloquent speech, I just feel like saying, I agree, ditto, enjoy. So, and Clement, I heeded your on behalf of the convocation and the alumni tribe. It is my honor and privilege to congratulate you, Dr. Tyobeka, on your inauguration as Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University tonight. I think one can compare the situation of a returning alumnus to a certain extent to the basic instincts of a homing pigeon. I'm not calling you a pigeon, but I am referring to the urge and the need and the desire to return home and to actively contribute at a very different level than you've had the previous opportunities or than which you did previously. And on behalf of the convocation, I have to say that we are really excited about the opportunity to, through the relevant structures, but with you, work with you, support you in your endeavors. So congratulations once again, and may you be blessed in your work at your alma mater. We are there right behind you.
All protocol observed, Madam Chancellor. I'm really excited to be here, Chairperson of Council, to come and congratulate, firstly, my student, a nuclear physics student, final year. I taught the Vice-Chancellor in that class. I know we never declared this when he was chairperson of council, when he was my boss. We didn't declare it. But indeed, Vice-Chancellor, without blowing my own trumpet, I'm not blowing my trumpet here. They say the role of a leader is to produce other leaders, not followers. A leader doesn't produce followers. You are such a product. And, the Vice-Chancellor and me are like Paul and Timothy in the Bible. You know, in the beginning of the chapters when Paul writes to Timothy, he says, my true son in Christ. And as it goes, that chapter, as the book goes, he now not refers Timothy as a son in Christ. He says a colleague, a co-worker in the gospel. And then this is what we are now. We are now co-workers in higher education. And well, of course, then as time goes on again now, Paul says to Timothy, I have fought a good fight. I have finished the race. Continue and take over. That moment is also coming for me to say that. To the Council of the University, very visionary. This council, for the past 3 vice-chancellors or even 4, they always looked at the alumni side. They've always appointed an alumnus of the university to take the lead of the university. And with that came passion and everything in those leaders for this institution. So council is very important in leading the university. And Vice-Chancellor, you are very lucky. Not all of us are lucky to do that, to have that. The leadership is very important in the sector. And I'm saying in the sector is very important. You've got a very vibrant council, a very supportive chancellor. Hold on to them. And a diverse council, by the way. A real, truly South African council. The minister, the deputy minister is here. If there's something to learn from Northwest University, is this adherence to the diversity in our country that can be seen in the council. Others, and with due respect, are more like tribal councils. And lack of diversity can also compromise quality. That we must know. Where there's no diversity, quality is at risk. So we must really count yourself lucky, Vice-Chancellor, to have such a very supportive council. And then I want to say in closing, And I said that the same thing to you, Professor Peterson, when you were inaugurated. Remember, I represented the sector there as well, at the University of Orange Free State. And I warned you of our comrades. You know, when they come to you and they start to say revolutionary greetings, I think you know very well you also come from there, Vice-Chancellor. When it starts with revolutionary greetings, then you must know, hey, there comes trouble now. But I can tell you, they are a very nice group of people. We work with them. They are very nice. Revolutionary greetings as well. So I really want to say, working together with all the stakeholders of the university will take the Northwest University further. This is a great institution. In concluding, when I was still here, I was recruited by a university in Australia. Registrar, I never disclosed this. And I went for an interview and everything. It was just before the COVID. Then COVID came in. But during that process, I asked them, how did you come about my name? Because I'm just a simple village boy from Kraipan. How did you come about this name? Then they say, we look at good institutions. Credit to council, credit to the university. We look at great universities. And then, after looking at a great university, we then go for the leader behind it. So it is a good university that gives you the pedestal, that platform, so people can look at you. And then most people have been asking me today, this evening, how am I, how is it? I've been saying to them, Deputy Minister, you are here. No, please, let's not spoil the day. We are here for Dr. Tyobeka's inauguration. Let's enjoy it. We will talk about those, but not now. Give me at least 2 years or so. Then I can tell you how am I. At the moment, I will just want to keep it to myself. Otherwise, you will want lies from me. If you want me to lie to you, I will have to answer that question. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Vice-Chancellor.
Chancellor Dr. Nwu-pukke, good evening, Vice-Chancellor Tyobeka, and all protocol observed. I think I'm going to start with revolutionary greetings. But I want to say that lento angiyazi ukuthi injani lento. Ngiva abantu bathi waseXofa imvaba ngithi hawu. Ngiyazi ukuthi lo muntu wase Moses Kotani municipality. Babuyise nini eXofa imvaba. Kodwa ngathi no akwenzi into. Uyazi iXofa imvaba ndiyayithanda kufa. Because iXofa imvaba indawo le kubuya inkokheli yami khona. Nayazi inkokheli enkulu uChris Hani. So ubuya endaweni yakaChris Hani phaya eXofa imvaba. Aphinde abuye endaweni yakaMoses Kotani la eNorthwest. Uthatha abantu labayithuba dibanise. Yo inye into. Whether you talk about their intellectual acumen, whether you talk about their commitment to the struggle, if you combine Chris Hani and Moses Kotani, intellectual giants, seriously committed to the upliftment of the people of South Africa. And with them, the question of moral integrity does not arise. Yeah. They are really examples of people with moral integrity. Let me go to my speech and say that you've got too many accolades. I want to talk about something different. I want to burden you with some tasks. I want to say that we in the Northwest have decided that we are going to focus only on 2 priorities You don't want too many priorities. I see you have a long list. I don't envy you. We said we want to focus only on job creation and service delivery. The two, job creation and service delivery. And we said that we want to be a caring government and a responsive government. And I want to give you your task, and I hope that after this meeting we'll still, all of us here remain friends. I want to say that here in this country, we have a very serious problem of poverty. Yesterday, economic survey report was released, which says that this economy this year will grow at 1.8%. Next year, it will grow at 1.3%. What can that do to poverty? What can that do to unemployment? We need new ideas. New ideas. How are we going to deal with economy growing at 1.8 and then 1.3? And last week, Stats SA released statistics about employment of women. And they said about 48%. This is a bloodbath. 48% of women are without job. This is a bloodbath. Do something about it. And we hear that government must do something about this. And I think somehow we have to think twice about this government. Where will it get its resources from? The GDP in this country, 6 trillion. Tax revenue, 1.7. Where is the money? With me, the upper middle class. The money is with us. What can government do with 1.7 trillion? GDP, 6 trillion. Look at the debt to GDP ratio. In Sweden, 55%. In Norway, 57%. In South Africa, 48%. Why don't we do something about this situation? Us, the middle class, upper middle class. Now, I want to make this special appeal to all of us to be ready to make a sacrifice. Without a sacrifice, there's no way that we'll take this economy out of this. There's no way that we are going to address this poverty. This poverty must be addressed by us, the upper middle class. Now we see this report, OECD report, this 1.8 and 1.3%. It's coming from investment, and guess what? Guess what? COVID-19 grant. And COVID-19 grant is 350. Well, government is thinking about pushing it up to 640. And we are saying, why don't we push it up to outer bound poverty line, 1,350? As an upper middle class person, I don't think tax that will be placed on my income to finance that 1,350 will affect my lifestyle. I don't think so. And this is the sacrifice we are called upon really to make. Without this sacrifice, I think we are sitting on a time bomb. If this poverty persists, if this poverty continues, we are in serious trouble. Yes, we have explanations for what happened in KZN in July, for what happened in Gauteng in July. But all those people we call agent provocateurs, instigators, and so on, they used the poverty there to mobilize people. If the poverty was not there, they would have found it difficult to tell people to go into stores and so on and take things that did not belong to them. You know, after 1994, some of us were drunk from euphoria of liberation. Some of us were fearful and felt threatened. And we said we want to observe the situation. Now, after 2 decades, we realized that we've got this freedom. But the problem is we don't know what to do with this freedom. The freedom is there. But the freedom is calling upon us really to develop a new consciousness. The consciousness that was there before was the consciousness to break down the unacceptable. The consciousness that we need a new one, a consciousness to build what is desirable, what will benefit the majority of our people. And this is why I make this special appeal to the upper middle class. Let's be prepared to make a small sacrifice so that we can do something about this poverty. I hope you'll still like me after this talk. Because this is the discussion I had last time with the president. The president asked me, if you say we must give people 1,350, where will the money come from? I said, from my account. He said, how is that? I said, you can text me, and then we can pay for this poverty. In conclusion, I want to say that ek is hier om te sê voorspoed. Ek is hier om te sê ek wens jou alles van die beste. Ek is hier saam hierso. Ons gaan toekoms bou wat beter is as ons verlede. Dankie.
You. Thank you very much, Program Director, and also the many messages that have been sent through, which are quite encouraging messages, and we really want to add into that, Vice-Chancellor, new Vice-Chancellor, to congratulate you for this important role of driving one of the top universities in our country, and also one of the top universities also in the world. And I'm using that word guardedly, and I'll explain a bit later. A couple of years ago, well, I think a lot of years ago, our government took a decision to merge universities and universities of technology into one. I think we reduced them to as many universities as they were to the now 26 public universities. And part of the big challenge at the time was whether are we going to be putting up the new names of universities just for the purpose of it, or whether will there be real transformation that will be taking place in these new universities that we're establishing. Was it akin to putting lipstick on a pig and let it parade and call it Miss Universe, or are we really going to use that opportunity to transform the size and shape of our universities, of our higher education as is at that time? And there was obviously a lot of resistance, but there was also willingness. And resistance and also willingness came from all quarters. And I think one of the biggest soul of that debate and of that decision was whether are we going to see the particularly historically white universities window dressing these new measures, or are we going to see a major impact not only in terms of the name but also in terms of the institutional cultures, new institutions that will foster diversity, that will embrace the new spirit of our country, but also open up as a democratic space within which academics, students, and everyone who's part of the post-school education and training system community really wanted our universities to play as a role. And so you're continuing with that journey. Today, we no longer speak about two separate universities in the Northwest. We're talking about the University of Potchefstroom. And that, I think, for me, is quite crucial. University of Northwest. And that is quite crucial. That is quite crucial because it shows that agenda of changing the landscape and the size and shape of our post-school education and training system is still finding resonance, and that we're still continuing with the transformation agenda. And I think for me, that's one of the bigger challenges that you will be confronted with. Our country, and I think on a daily basis, over dinner tables, in lecture halls, in meetings, in community gatherings, and everywhere else, we're grappling with some of the challenges that we're confronted with. And I think the Premier touched just a bit on some of those challenges. Academic institutions, especially universities, whose pursuit is for research and the discovery of new knowledge, has to be at the center of providing solutions to some of the challenges that our country is confronted with. The very reason why our Constitution and our higher education laws promotes academic freedom is precisely because we do not want to stifle the voices that comes out of academia that speaks to society, because you have made it your preoccupation to think and to produce new knowledge. And there may be a sense that academia is probably holding back for this or that reason. But I think it's important that we need to hear those voices coming out. That intellectuals, that academics shouldn't be about speaking the truth only because it wouldn't upset one or the other person in society, but should be about speaking the truth as we found out in our preoccupation with thinking and with learning and with research, and speak it boldly, and hopefully it will begin the spark that will change society as we know it. And so part of my congratulatory message is, don't hold back. And I think we need to hear some of those truths. It could be beyond some of the challenges that the Premier has mentioned, unemployment, poverty, and all of that, or even much more complex challenges that society is faced without any particular bias, but with more bias towards the truth, which we would have found in our research and in our pursuit for knowledge. And finally, universities are not a neutral space. And so if universities have to do good, it means those who are at their helm should prioritize particularly those who have never imagined that they will have an opportunity to set their foot in an academic institution. And I believe from your beginnings, between Chris Hanis, Kofim Vaba, and Moses Kotani, that you would continue with the tradition that many of our universities, including the University of Northwest, have continued upon, to prioritize those who have never imagined that they would ever set their foot in a university. Because through this, we're going to multiply the changes that will effect in our communities. Congratulations and all the best, and you have all our support.
Langishi tholele duna. Langishi tholele duna madoda. Langishi tholele duna. Alala Dr. Tyobeka. Alala tholele silo. Alala tholele nkunzi zakulo gqamgqam. Igazi lathekezwa phezu kwentambo zenqabarha. Alala Dr. Tyobeka. Inkunzi ehle ezinye madoda. Alala Dr. Tyobeka. You've upheld the dignity and the stature of the Northwest University. You've contributed tremendously in the major restructuring of the Northwest University as a unitary model, which accelerated to institutional transformation. You've contributed tremendously in the development of the new language policy of the Northwest University. Halala! Halala, Dr. Tyobeka, halala! Tholele nkuzi zakulo gqamgqam. Halala, tholele duna labathembu ababhuzubhuzu. Halala! Ingqanga yakulo ngqangaza. Oh, ugogogo lo mkhondlo la kulo gogo. Halala, Dr. Tyobeka. Lithole lo mthembeli. Uqeduma lona. Udloma usopitha ungqolo omsila. Halala! You say halala!
Thank you. I think maybe we should have used these services in the next address. And this is the address. This is the certificate, which goes to Dr. Tyobeka. Dr. Tyobeka. So I'm just going to read for everybody. So this is the address. It's presented to Dr. Bismark Tyobeka on the occasion of his inauguration as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the Northwest University on 1 June 2022 for a 5-year period in terms of the statute of the Northwest University.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Chairperson, you can sit down now. You can sit just a minute. I have okay. We are about to conclude. I have a special request, and this special request is not negotiable. I'm going to honor it, and you may punish me later. Makumar.
Everybody knows that it's just a muddy river, but it seems like heaven on earth. When the moon is shining bright, just to dream away the night. When the lazy river flows by, everything is still all along the Mississippi. and there's nobody as I. But I never went to Rome just to dream away the night when the lazy river flows by, flows away. The lazy river flows away. The lazy river when the moon is shining bright, just to dream away the night when the Mississippi flows by.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are now in the home straight, and I slightly want to deviate from my script, and somewhere along our list, we omitted to welcome two Eswatini princess. Welcome here tonight. And then I also want to specifically acknowledge your mother, Elizabeth Tyobeka. Thank you very much for the education that you gave your child and your upbringing that you provided to him. And thank you for making him available to the university. It's really appreciated. And there was now a lot of praise, but I think, we must now go back to business. And I listed tentatively, VC, when you mentioned your mother kept you on the straight and narrow. And as the responsibility of council is, of course, to oversee the strategy of the university. And I think tonight I've got another quiver in our bow that I think if we struggle to keep you on the straight and narrow, I'll consult your mother. That's in order. So I'm now concluding, and my conclusion is from welverdiend to welverdiend to welgedaan. And now before all of you go to Google Translate, as the VC has mentioned in his speech, we're a functional multi-language institution, and I'll translate as we go. From welverdiend. So the VC has acknowledged tonight the village where he came from and with which he has his link still today. So that concludes the part from welverdiend. Of course, then the VC went on this journey to America and Austria, but then came back to South Africa, and ultimately he heeded the call of his alma mater to return home. Thank you for that, VC. And that brings me to the from welverdiend to welverdiend. Welverdiend means in Afrikaans is justly deserved. So your appointment as VC, justly reserved. And as my note of congratulations is, welgedaan, well done. So that is, I think, the journey of Dr. Tyobeka, from welverdiend to welverdiend to welgedaan. And VC, I think, on behalf of myself as chair and the council, we are looking forward in working with you, as we have said during our discussions, is taking the Northwest University to the next level. Thank you very much. So just the final arrangements is I want you to all stand for the national anthem. Thereafter, sorry, you can just be with me in a moment. So we're standing now for the national anthem. Then the Chancellor will do the dissolution of the congregation, and thereafter remain standing for the procession to leave. So as I said, in the business end, it is the national anthem, the dissolution, and the procession leaves. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending tonight. I think it was a great evening, and I must also thank to all the functionaries and all the people that worked hard behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. An evening like this doesn't happen automatic. Baie harde werk, baie dankie vir almal.
By the power vested in me, I dissolve this congregation of the Northwest University.
Okay, we... Yeah. So the dinner will be served. Please, it will be served at your tables. There are waiters who will assist you, and you can order anything you need. Just say, and we'll try to provide. Thank you very much indeed. Let's continue singing.